Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday live where we do a 20-question mock test and a hazard perception. Still getting emails. You guys are still struggling with hazard perception. So, as usual, I will do a demonstration at the end, and then at the end of the 20-question mock test, explain what a hazard is and answer any questions that you may have. If you guys have any questions about your theory, driving lessons, driving test, the whole package, type in the comment section and put a Q semicolon. I'll just put a link in the description, and what it should like is be a Q, a semicolon, question. That way I'm going to find it a lot easier, and I can bring up on screen, answer it personal to you. If you've got a test coming up soon, especially if you've got one coming up next week, type in the comment section. This is why I go live, so I can answer your question personally rather than you looking through videos and get a generic answer to your questions. So hopefully you guys have had a good weekend so far. What I'm going to do is let me lock this, and then let me just see if we are going out live and everything seems okay. I had a technical issue this morning. I think it's my internet, so hopefully we can go through the live without any technical issues. So let me just see who's here. Let's get rid of that one. Let's change screen. That would help. That would sharp a lot better. Marwa, I hope I'm saying that correct. Good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, I don't think. So good morning to you. Good morning to you. Again, I've not seen your name before, so welcome. Again, I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. I'm fine. How are you? There's like lots of new names that I've not seen here before. So first of all, welcome to the Sunday Live. Thanks for getting up this Sunday morning to join. I appreciate it. Yeah, good morning, Becky. Good morning to you. Nice that you are here again. Good morning. How are you? Kalechi, good morning to you. And Henry, good morning to you. All right. So as I mentioned earlier on, if you guys got any questions, literally any, about your theory, driving lessons, type it in the comment section. Let me answer it. I'll repeat, that's why I go live, to answer your questions. What I'm going to do now is just do a quick overview of the theory itself. A couple of people joining in again. Welcome. I appreciate you guys getting up your Sunday. To be fair, 40 people already here. We're not even got going yet. The Sophie Lifestyle. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. But again, I've definitely not seen your name before. That's a mouthful. Wow, first time watching your video live. I'm happy to be here. My test is coming up in 2 days, March the 3rd. Yes, it's March already, aren't we? March the 1st. Wow. And I'm so scared I've been postponing it, but I just decided to take the bold step. Scared, nervous is natural. Let me put you back on. That's natural. I always say to my students, use it as a positive, not a negative. As long as the nerves do not control you, because once it starts controlling you, you're going to panic and freak out in the test center. And when you start to panic, the brain just wants to choose an answer to get it over and done with. You have to stay calm as much as you possibly can, and so you can think clearly. So it's not a bad thing. Because your test is on the 3rd, if you got no more lives, so it's your first time here as well. If you've got any questions, Sophie, type in a comment section. Let me send you in there on what Tuesday your test is, isn't it? The 3rd is a Tuesday, because I've got a driving test on this Tuesday, 3rd. Yeah, let me send you in there nice and confident. But being scared is natural. So hopefully you've done enough studying to pass this test. Come back next Sunday as well. Let us know how you get on. I would appreciate that. SJ Dancing, welcome to you. Welcome to you. There's Rena Ford. I think I've seen that before, so welcome. If you're the first time here, I'll definitely welcome. If you have been there before, nice to see you back. Good morning, Sir Q. I saw a question. What is the main cause of skidding? Main cause of skidding is driver error. 99.9% of skids is driver error. That's the answer you're looking for. If they do not give you that option, you're looking for the 0.1%, which is road surface. So that's loose sand, gravel, that type of thing. So as much as you're careful when you're driving, if the road surface is loose, you can still skid. I repeat, the main cause of skidding is driver error. If they don't give you that option, then you're looking for road surface. Sorry, I'm going to change this because if I can find it now. Just give me a minute. I want to change the comment thing because it keeps coming off. Where will I find the settings for that? There we go. So hopefully the comments stay there now. I just joined the live to share that I passed my theory test. Well done to you. Congratulations. 45 and 63 has a perception. That's a high score. First time as well. Good time. Good. First time passing. Phil. First of all, thank you for coming back to the live and let me know that you passed. Congratulations. What are you doing next now? Booking a driving test? Looking for driving lessons? What's your next step? Good morning to you. I've been studying with your videos online and had the 4-in-1 driving test app. So you're doing the right things. Just hopefully with your test being on Wednesday or the Tuesday, sorry, the 3rd, hopefully you're passing mock tests at this point in time, because at this point, with a couple of days, you should be passing mock tests on a regular basis. No, the answer is not whether. The reason being, think about it. If the car skids when it's dry, whose fault is it? It's driver. If the car skids when it's wet, whose fault is it? The driver. And if the car skids in ice and snow, whose fault is it? It's the driver. It's nothing to do with the weather. Everybody thinks it's the weather, but it's not. It's the driver left it late to brake. So it's a drive. That's why it's called driver error. They left it late in dry, wet, ice, snow, rain, whatever it happens to be. Good morning, sir. I passed my test after watching your videos. It was impactful. That's an interesting word. Impactful. 45 out of 50, 59, 75. God bless. God bless you as well. Thank you for coming to the live. Appreciate that you guys are letting me know that you are passing your test. It means a lot. And thank you for coming to the live session, letting me know, letting everybody else know as well. It's inspiration. Again, what are you doing next? What's your next step? Now you've passed the theory test, you want to move it forwards. So what's that look like for you? Is it driving lessons, driving tests, looking to book one? Let us know in the chat. Let me come back to that. That's a common one. It's funny how when we do a study camp, the questions come up, and then on the Sunday, the same thing comes up a lot as well. It's funny, we done it yesterday when we was talking about that in this training session yesterday, colours. But let me come back to that. I think we covered it last week as well. For the past questions and answers, really helped me. I passed my test on Wednesday, 43, just about passed it. I'll pass it the pass, but I'll brush up on your theory because you're going to need some of that for your driving test. But congratulations on passing. Again, what are you going to do next? Karen Thompson, good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, I don't think so. Welcome. Another one who took a test yesterday, Saturday. I passed. I got 49. You missed it by 1. But congratulations on passing. 59.75 video. No problem. You are welcome again. Thank you for coming to the live sessions. Let me know how you got on. And same to you, Tyrone Reed. All right, let me do an overview because that's why you guys are really here. So the questions, multiple choice, 50 questions. They're made up of 14 different categories. I will tell you again, I keep saying this every session and I still get emails. I failed my theory test. The questions were worded differently, like it's a big surprise. The questions on the app, it doesn't make a difference what app you are using. I would suggest go for a paid app, by the way. The app I recommend is Driving Test Success 4-in-1. I just think it's the interface is a lot easier. They're starting to put driving bits and pieces in there now, so you can use it after you pass the theory test for your driving lessons. But anyway, the point I'm making is the app has 774 questions, give or take. On the real test, it's about double that, 1,500 to 2,000 questions. Now they're starting to update the database to choose from. The questions will be worded slightly differently. They're going to be questions that you have never seen before on the real test. This is why I say you need to understand the question, you need to understand the answers. Because when it's worded differently, the understanding will always be there. What some of you are doing, thinking, if I cover all 774 questions, not understand it, but memorize it, know what the answers are, when you go for the real test, you're going to be better off. You're not. That's the worst way of studying, is memorizing, because the brain will clock what the question's asking, what the answer is. When you go for the real test, if it's not similar, you're going to be thrown from that. I will say again, it's 14 categories. That's why I suggest when you study, you do all 14 categories individually and then start your mock test. So, and it's different tests for different people. What I mean by that is 50 questions, yes. But if there's 10 of you in a room, it's 10 different questions going on in terms of 50. So if your friend took it yesterday, it's no point asking them what questions they got so you can study overnight, because it's going to be different for you when you go in there. So the test is random. The time that you have to do this is fit for the questions is 57 minutes that you have, which is more than enough time if you studied. I suggest you take your time. Still getting people saying they've done it in 20, 25 minutes and they failed. They don't know why. The reason why, probably part of the reason why you failed, because you did it in 20, 25 minutes. You need to break it down, because remember, the questions will be worded differently. So you need the time to fully understand what they're asking, how it's different from the app questions. Once you've done that, you move on to hazard perception, which is 14 videos. 13 of them have single hazards. You can score 5 on 13 of them and then 10 on one of them. I will do a hazard perception demonstration, explain what a hazard is and show you a method of how to beat the system. In terms of answers, use some common sense. Some of the answers are literally common sense. You don't have to have any driving lessons, any driving experience. You can use some common sense to work out the answers. But the majority of the answers, what they're looking for is going to be down to safety. Because the driving test is about safety. Control, the theory test is the same, safety. If it doesn't lead to a safe answer, then it's a controlled outcome is what you're looking for, which is normally your motorways and your first aid. If you do struggle with your theory, struggle to pass, I run a study camp. As much as it says 30-day study camp, 30 days is the sweet spot for studying, because once you start to study longer than 30 days, the questions in the app starts to get repeated. Then it becomes a memorizing exercise. So ideally, you want to study for about 30 days, take your test, pass it. But I run a 30-day study camp. If you take longer than 30 days, because life gets in the way, you have access to all the training material, all the training sessions until you pass. One-time payment. And if you take your 60 days, 90 days, whatever it takes, you've got access to all of that until you pass. We run 4 days session, Monday to Thursday, live, where I break down each category in turn in detail. It's all recorded if you can't make it, and then we do live training based on your theory test results, because you are joined my Theory Test Pro account and I can see your results, how long you studied for, what questions you were getting wrong, and I can go through that with you live. And we do one on a Wednesday and we do one at the weekend, which is normally Saturday morning, which we did yesterday. So that is how that works. But like I said, you have live feedback until you pass on that. So if you're interested, the link is in the description. So let me go back to your comments and then we'll start the test. My exams will be March the 1st. So again, that's Tuesday. Final advice. As when you go, the only advice I can give you now is just literally because your test is Tuesday. Hopefully, I don't know why that's down there. Sorry, let me just set that up. Let's put it like that. Because your test is Tuesday, there's not much I can give you about studying. Hopefully, you're ready studying wise. But when you go in there, is take your time, break it down. If you don't know what the answer is, work backwards. What I mean by that is go looking for the wrong answer. What I would do, this is what I tell my group. First and foremost, when you go in there, if you don't know what the answer is, flag it. There's no point stressing over individual question. Just flag it, move on. And then when you finish the 50th question, it asks, do you want to review your flagged ones? You're going to say yes, that's why you flagged it. Now you've got more time to work on any individual question that you're not sure of. And if you still don't know what the answer is, work backwards. And what I mean by that, get rid of the wrong answer. There's always one stupid answer on there. Always get rid of that, because even if you're going to take a guess after that, at least you've got 1 in 3 chance to be correct as opposed to 1 in 4. Look for clues. Sometimes there's clues in the question and there's clues in the answer. That's what I would do. And just literally take your time. If you feel stressed, panicked, scared, take a time out. What I mean by that is just sit back in your seat, just breathe, think about nothing where possible, just calm the brain down. Because if you try to answer the question while you're panicking, the brain's going to answer the question just to get rid of this panic stage. You want to stay calm. So literally sit back in your seat, take some deep breaths, and then look for the answer, because you've got 57 minutes, which is more than enough time. But the most important thing is I can say with that is just read all of the question from start to finish and read every single answer from start to finish. What some of you do in a skim reading, hence why you do it in 25 minutes. And the other thing that you guys do is read 2/3 of the question. It sounds similar to the app questions or answers, and then you just pick an answer from that. What you don't realize is on a real test, sometimes they change the last 3 words, and those last 3 words make that one unsafe. So that's why you need to read it from start to finish. I repeat, the questions on the real test is different or worded differently from the apps. So that's my advice to you. Take your time, basically. I'm starting my practical test lesson soon. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. Hopefully that goes well for you. My scores are low, that's why I'm scared. My scores are 39, 40. Vehicle loading, road signs are major concerns. And your test is Tuesday, there's not much you can do. The best I can suggest you do is obviously, if you think that's your weakness, vehicle loading and road signs are major concerns, and you're getting 39 and 40 on mock test, 10 questions, that's not your major concern. I'll tell you why, because you're not getting 10 vehicle loading and road sign questions to making you fail. There's other questions you're getting wrong amongst that. You just feel that vehicle loading and road signs are your major concerns. There's nothing much you can do. If you feel that's your concerns, then I would suggest you study between now and Tuesday. You got time. But there's an underlying issue. If you're getting 40 at this point, vehicle loading and road signs isn't just the major issues, because you're not getting 10 questions, vehicle loading and road signs. The app doesn't do that to you. So there's other issues going on. You may get lucky on the day and the questions that you know come up on that. The best you can do is, like I said, study those categories between now and Tuesday. Go and do the best you can. Fingers crossed you pass. If you pass, happy days. If you don't, you got data, which means it will literally show you the categories that you are struggling with on that, and then go from practice those categories and then obviously book another one. But I wish you the best of luck with that though. You're Ryan, I don't think I've seen your name before, so welcome first and foremost. You're incredible at teaching, my dude. Okay, thanks for the comment. I was failing my hazard and perception in my mock test until I found your videos. Now I'm passing both regularly and have my test tomorrow. First and foremost, thank you. Secondly, I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. If you got any questions that you want to ask, feel free to type them in, and let's get you past tomorrow. Was it tomorrow? Yeah, test tomorrow. Come back next Sunday and let me know how you got on. I'd appreciate that. Hi Dorian, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you. Please could you explain? Then it cuts off. Okay, let me do start the mock test, because that's why you're here. But I can't pronounce your name. I was going to call you 7038. You said explain and then it cuts off. I don't know what you want me to explain. So type it in, or maybe you have later on as I scroll down through the comment section. All right, let's start the test because that's why you guys are here. Share screen would help. Share screen. Right, so those of you that are new, we read the question. Let me just leave my little mouse bouncing around. You're in a line of traffic. What action should you take if a driver behind is following very closely? This is A. This is B. So A and B on the top line. C, D. Please put the question number and what letter of choice you think it is. And the reason why I'm asking you to put the question number because there's a delay between, can't get my words out. There's a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube. When it comes up on screen, I want to make sure we're on the same question, same answers when I show it. You taking the time to answer it. I like to show it on screen as well. So type question number and letter of choice. And if you've got questions, put it in the comment section. I will still monitor this as we are going through it. Passed my theory test on Thursday. Congratulations, Karen Thompson. This is my first time taking my test. Congrats. I have dyslexia, same like me. Watching you made it make sense. 47 out of 50. Well done. 50 out of 75. I was so nervous, but I did it. Thanks again. Nerves is a good thing. Like I said, you're always going to feel nervous. If a student of mine turns up on the theory test day or driving test day and tell me they're not nervous, it makes me nervous because I've got to ask myself, why are you not nervous? There's confidence and there's just not caring. So nerves is a good thing. Just don't let it control you. Well, congratulations on passing now, Karen. And again, thank you for coming to the live and let me know how you got on. What's your next step? It's nice to know what you guys are going to do next. I have mine on Tuesday. The wrap of the day. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I've not seen your name before, definitely. So thank you for being here. I'll manage it as well. I'm very prepared, but worried my nerves will get the best of me. Like I said, the nerves is a good thing, not a bad thing. If you feel it's getting the best of you in there, just literally just sit back in your seat, take some deep breaths, do some woosah and calm yourself down. Do not answer questions while you're stressing out because the brain will just pick an answer to get out of the stressed state. You want to stay calm so you can think clearly. But again, the wrap of the day, I wish you the best of luck with that. Please come back next week. Let us know how you got on. And if you've got any questions, type it in the comment section. All right, let's run these ones. So I'm just going to start some of these so I can find them later on. Right, here we go. Right, you guys are going for A. Oh, someone's gone for a C. I'm going to put these up because I know we're on the first one, but moving forward, if you don't put the question number like Becky has, it won't be shown. But like I said, I know we're on the first one, so it doesn't matter. All right, you guys gone for 1A. What action should you test? Worded differently. Slow down, gradually increase the gap between you and the vehicle in front. Yes, make the gap bigger. So if the car in front stops suddenly, you got more time to react without the car going to the back of you. That's the reason why. Let me bring this down. Let's do it again. So you can see the question number. You're traveling on a road that has road humps. What should you do when the driver in front is traveling more slowly than you? I would also suggest, especially those of you got your test tomorrow, always read the question, always look at the image as well before answering, because sometimes in the images, they have clues to the answer. All right, let's deal with some of these comments. Right, I've got this one. I'm going to answer, if you stick around to the ends, if you can't watch the replay, that's a visual question. I will bring up the slides I use in my training camp to show you visually rather than me just explaining it. But I can't do that now because, like I said, the majority of this is about the mock test. But if you stick around and want the explanation, I will bring up the slides from the training camp, also the study camp. If you can't stick around, then I would suggest you watch the replay. I'll still answer it for you if you're not here. We've got, what should I revise about turns, junction, common traffic and one-way roads? I'm not understanding that question, by the way. What should I revise about turns, junctions, oncoming traffic and one-way roads? In terms of what? If you're talking about in terms of the theory, if you're talking, it's the same answer. If you're talking about in terms of the theory or driving, there's nothing to revise. Just cover everything. If you turn around and say, what should I revise? That means you're just doing certain things. You want to cover everything. That way, don't matter how the question's asked, worded, you covered everything. Once you start picking at certain things, then you're asking for trouble. So just cover everything. So if you're relating it to the theory, cover everything. If you're relating to driving, cover everything. That way you're covered, full stop. But don't pick out individual stuff. The one thing I will say about one-way roads, though, they don't tell you on the theory sometimes. Same thing with motorway and dual carriageway. See it as 3 lanes. They don't tell you if the question talks about motorways, one-way roads, one-way streets. Always see it as 3 lanes. It makes it easier to answer the question. If they say to you, there's one question that comes to mind about two lanes on a one-way road. They told you it's 2 lanes. That's fine. But if the mountain lanes is not mentioned on one-way roads, dual carriageways, motorways, see it as 3 lanes. I repeat, they don't tell you that. So it's when you go to answer the questions, you can get it wrong. Right, let's deal with this. Number 2 is looking at, so let's go find the 2s. The first one out is rap of the day. Just going back to, I can't remember who it was, what should I study about junctions, blah, blah, blah. With the theory, you want to cover everything. Basically, you want to cover the 774 questions, whatever it is in the app. You want to cover every single question, so you're exposed to every single question. So you know how it could be asked. You shouldn't be just doing a handful of questions or studying a certain thing. Because remember, the questions are random. You don't know what questions you're going to get. Right, you guys are going for 2D. 2D. Yeah, slow. Once it's got slowed down, it's kind of the safest option. Remember, you're looking for safety. So if it's got slowed down, it's one of the safer options. I need to go up to just move on. Right, bring that back down. A collision has just happened. An injured person is lying in a busy road. What's the first thing you should do? Eric Botan, your avatar is amazing. I've not seen your name before, so welcome first and foremost. I love your avatar. All right. Comfort Fash, not seen your name before, so welcome. Please advise, boss. I'm slow to quickly identify hazard perspectives. How could I observe early, please? My test is on Tuesday. Know what a hazard is. If you're slow to identify hazards, you're not recognizing what a hazard is. That's the problem. A hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down, change direction. So you need to anticipate, watch the video. When you're watching the video, you need to look ahead in the video, not just literally in front of you. You need to look as far down the video as you possibly can, and then start to say to yourself, is that going to cause me a problem? Yes or no. The problem is if it's going to cause you to change direction, shift left or right, or if it's going to cause you to slow down. Once you identify what hazards are, it's easier to see in advance. That's the reason why you're struggling with hazards late. But good luck with your test on Tuesday. This person just saying good morning. I've not seen your name before, so good morning to you. First time here, I would imagine as well. So good morning and welcome. My test is coming in 2 weeks and your videos have been very helpful. Honestly, I confidently get 4750. You're ready. If you're getting 4750 on a regular, 5767 on the hazard perception, you're technically ready. Just keep going. Don't be careful that you don't overstudy now, because it sounds like you're ready already with 2 weeks to go. So just don't start cramming more and more stuff in it. Just start to, as I said to my students yesterday, a couple of them have got their tests in next week and 2 weeks time. It sounds really weird. Just ease off doing mock test after mock test. Just ease it down a little bit, and then as the week comes, start to do both together, hazard perception and the 50 questions as a package. So the brain starts to get mentally tough to do both in a pressure situation. But what I would do now, leading up to your 2 weeks, is do one or the other. So you do questions on its own, and then hazard perception on its own, not necessarily the same day. Just do it that way. And then when the week of your test comes, start to do both together. Just sit down and make sure you got time to do it, because when you go into the real test, that's what you're doing. You're doing both of them together, all in one session. But just be careful you don't over study, because a lot of people start to cram even more, and your results are spot on. If you was my student, I'd be happy with those scores 2 weeks before a test. We're on number 3. The link is in the description. And the other thing as well, so we're Becky. Becky is. Some of you are still studying for an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is doesn't make sense. Once you start to go over the hour mark, you're not really learning. You're just starting to memorize. It just becomes a mush to the brain. There's so much words and pictures. I said this last week, and I noticed this more and more. In the study camp, they're starting to ease off because they're taking my advice. You studying for 2 hours at a time makes no sense whatsoever. Just because you're studying for 2 hours doesn't mean you're learning more, you're learning less. You're looking for quality study, not quantity. And the reason why I say that, because the theory test, think about it, the government who do the theory test have done their research. 57 minutes is the cut-off point, is the maximum time you got. So if they're giving you 57 minutes, it's for a reason. That's the only time, the amount of time the brain can handle information in a stressful situation, max. So why are you studying for longer than 57 minutes? The sweet spot is between 45 minutes and an hour. So if you're studying more than an hour, you're wasting brain calories, to be honest. I've got a 3C here. Good morning to you. Got my test on Wednesday. Got my test last week. Let me come back to that because my brain's struggling with the wording on that. No problem, you're welcome. Got 3D. All right, 3D. So let's see what the common answers were. 3D is all the common answer. Yeah, warn other traffic. How do you warn other traffic is the follow-up question, which you guys don't see on the app. Place a triangle 45 meters away from your car. Or put hazard lights warning on. Hazard warning lights on. Someone went for a C. You can't place somebody in a recovery position when you don't know what's wrong with them, because it says a collision has just happened. An injured person is lying in a busy road. You place them in a recovery position when you don't know what's wrong. It's busy. You need to make the area safe first. That's why you warn other traffic. So you can see the numbers. You're driving on a motorway and have to slow down suddenly due to a hazard ahead. How can you warn drivers behind of a hazard? Right, let's get some of these comments out of the way. Good morning, sir. I joined the live session for the first time today. To particular, thank you. Your videos have been a great help to my protest on Wednesday and passed 49 out of 50. 63. Congratulations on passing. First time breaking the silence. So thank you for coming and doing that. Just missed the magical 50 by 1. 63. Definitely a high score on your hazard perception. So well done. Again, if you're still here, what are you doing now? Driving lessons, driving test. What's your next step? Good morning. I passed my grade test on Wednesday. 9. Just one sec. Again, thank you for coming to the live session. Let me know. Again, can you missed it by 1? Lots of people missing it by 1. High scores. So congratulations to all of you getting past it anyway. But get 49 out of 50 is amazing. Again, what's your next step? I'm finding it hard to focus and understand the questions with my dyslexia. I'm finding it hard to focus and understand the question. Is the dyslexia stopping you from being focused? I've got dyslexia. It doesn't make me struggle with focus. That could be something else. Understanding, yes. I get that. Definitely I get that. I would study in smaller chunks if I was you. Especially if it's lack of focus, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Remember I said you're looking for quality study, not quantity. It just means you're going to take longer to get the studying done. What I'd also recommend is if you're struggling to understand the questions, on my channel there's it's been a while now, Study With Me, I believe, and there's another series which I can't remember. Bit embarrassed, I can't remember on my own channel, but there's a Study With Me and there's another series. One's got 20 questions and I'm sure the other one's got 30 questions where I cover every category. I would start with those because obviously I got dyslexia, so when I break things down in a simple way to understand it. That will give you a head start on your studying. That's what I would do, and then take it from there. But I would go smaller chunks, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and that way you can keep your focus. But I don't believe your dyslexia is stopping you from being focused. That's something else. But definitely with understanding. And we are on 4. Sorry, just trying to find the 4s. Right, here we are. Here's how you're going for C. Some of you are still not putting a question number, so I don't know if it's related to this question. Please put the question number first and then the letter of choice. That way I know we're on the same page. I got a 4B there. Everyone's going for C, so I've got to assume C is correct. And this is why I'm saying, this is why I say I put the question number. Not picking on Eunice, but these are 4s coming through. This is just come through between the 4s. Like I said, there's a massive delay somewhere along the line. That's why I'm saying put the question number, so I know we're on the same page. Good morning to you. First time here, so welcome. Right, 4C seems to be the common answer. Yeah, as I said, let me go to here. If you break the question down, you're driving on the motorway, have to slow down suddenly due to a hazard ahead. The answer has hazard warning lights. And that's what I'm trying to say. If you are being stressed that you missed the obvious, that's why you need to stay calm to look for the clues in the question and answers. Someone went for 4B. Flash your lights is warning of your presence. That's what flashing the lights means. So it wouldn't be a 4B. In order to supervise a learner driver, you need to have held a full driver license for the same category of vehicle for at least 3 years. What other requirement must you meet? Thank you so much for your teaching after failing several times to pass on the 25th of Feb. First and foremost, congratulations on passing. That was last week. And thank you for coming to the Sunday. I couldn't come before because of church. Respect to that. But you came today to say thanks very much. Congratulations, first and foremost. Thank you for coming. Whether you're still here or not, or you've gone off to church, I don't know. But definitely thank you for coming and saying to me that you have passed. If you're still here, though, please let me know what your next steps are in terms of taking driving lessons or driving tests. I'd like to know what you guys are going to do. You'd be surprised how many people actually pass their theory test and sit on it for a while. You got to remember, one, you got to get up to test standard, and two, the waiting time for a driving test is long. Before you know it, 2 years can pass. So don't sit on it. Hopefully we'll start practical in the summer, as I just want to save a bit more. Do you teach practical driving or recommend a good driving school? I'm based in South London. I'm not in South London. I used to live in South London, Peckham. Funny enough, that's 6 years ago now. So I don't know who's still teaching down them sides, and it depends what part of South London you're at. I'm based in North London. Well, I live in Luton. I do driving lessons in, I say driving lessons, I do intensive driving courses in North London. If you're going to wait for the summer, that's fine. I appreciate that. But what I would suggest, again, conversation that came up yesterday when we done the training session, if you know you're going to take driving lessons X amount of months away or weeks away, try to find a driving instructor now and lock them in. Because the summertime, we get busy as driving instructors because the uni children want to pass before they go back to sixth form, college, unis, whatever they do. So summertime is busy for us. So it's hard to find a driving instructor in that time. So you're better off trying to say, I'm looking to take driving lessons. Just call it June, for example. Can I reserve my date in June? Boom. And if they've got the space, they'll lock you in. And that way you know you got your driving instructor. But just find a driving instructor in the summer when you want to start, it's going to be difficult. The good ones anyway, that's for sure. And we on 5. Let's find 5s. So literally don't wait to get your instructor booked up. I don't know if I've done these ones, but I'll say it again. Samuel, good morning to you. First time here, so congratulations on being here. Thank you for being here. Just want to say thank this guy. Just watched his YouTube channel a couple of times. Passed just once. Scored 50 out of 50. Well done to you. That's the magical 50. Hard to do. Has Perception got 55? Has just passed practical. Thanks, bro. You're welcome. And thank you for coming to the session. Let me know. Again, well done for the 50 out of 50. Not easy to do. I can't even get that on my videos when I record them. So well done to you. 5B. Someone's gone for a C there. Break it down. Are you referring to this question? If you are referring to this question, which ones are you confused by? A, B, C, D? Just type that in quickly before I reveal the answer, and I can show you how to break it down. Or if there's a question that comes up and you're confused between two options, just type it in, which two you're confused, and I'll show you how to break it down, because there's always a simple way of breaking it down. It always comes back down to the safety aspect or controlled aspect. Where are you based? I'm in Luton. I live in Luton, but I work in North London. I'm in Harlow. That's nowhere near me. Harlow is what's the name of the motorway? That's M11. Answer's no to that one. I'm nowhere near Harlow. And I do intensive driving courses anyway. I don't do hourly lessons. All right. I'm trying to see if she's... Not this one. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. Sorry, not this one. That's fine. Any ones that come up that you're kind of confused between the two, just literally... I remember your name. Just put the two that you're confused with and I'll try to break it down for you. This one is at least 21. You have to be at least 21, some maturity, and had your license for at least 3 years driving experience. Numbers, you can see the numbers. Why should you allow extra room while overtaking a motorcyclist on a windy day? Not as far as I'm aware of. I don't think we'd cover Birmingham. Don't think we do. Someone wants Selfie lifestyle. Please explain the difference between puffing crossing, toucan crossing, and pelican crossing. Again, let me come. These are deep explanations. Let me come back to that one quickly because I can explain that with words, but it's what you're looking for from that because these are easy. So it depends on what you're looking at. Are you looking at the colours or are you looking at what each crossing does? That's the difference. If you're looking at what crossings does, that's different. The colours are the same going up anyway, but yeah, let me come back to that. Got my test. Hello, good morning. I got my test last Wednesday. I got my test, but you give me results. Do you mean you did your test last Wednesday? Because you got the results here. 38 out of 50, 56 out of 75. There's a follow-up. No. Let me just clarify this. You got this one. I got my... I'm assuming you mean you did your test. My brain... And you spelled it Wednesday wrong as well. Like I said, when I got this selection, it's worded badly. I struggle massively. So you did your test last Wednesday. You got 38 out of 50. Hazard perception, fine. No problems. 56 out of 75. You got 12 questions wrong. That's got nothing to do with the mock test that you claimed that you took, 47, 48. You don't understand what the question's asking you. And I'm going to tell you why. This is why I said 30 days is a sweet spot. What you're doing, you're studying at home, fine. You're doing mock tests. You're starting to recognize the questions. You're starting to recognize the answers. And you're picking that. That's why you're getting 47, 48 on your mock test. What you're not doing is understand what the question's asking and why the answer's correct. So when you go for the real test, when they ask the question, because it's different, worded differently, you're not understanding what the question's asking, which means you don't know what the answer is. That's why you got 38 out of 50. It's got nothing to do with the nerves. Trust me on that. I've got enough experience to know nerves is not causing you to get 12 questions wrong. So that's a lack of knowledge. You need to understand the question, what the question is asking. You need to understand why the answer is correct. What you guys are not doing when you get the question wrong on the app is understanding why you got the question wrong. That's the first important bit. You got a question wrong. Nothing wrong with getting questions wrong. You learn from mistakes. But you need to understand why you got the question wrong first. What was your thought process behind it? So the brain eliminates that from the next time. And then you now look at the correct answer and understand why the answer is correct. So the brain remembers that for next time. You guys just study question this, answers this. I'll remember that for next time. That's the wrong way of going. Hence why the 38 out of 50. It's got nothing to do with the nerves. Trust me on that. You need to go back to understanding. Hazard perception is fine. You have to work out why the answer and question goes together. Hopefully that helps. But as I said, when you fail a test, you got data. So you now have that data. You just need to put it into practice. Sorry, number 6. Let's deal with that first. Right, 6Bs seems to be the common ones. And I will repeat, that's the reason why you don't want to be taking more than 30 days. I've not seen your name before, so I'm assuming you've been there before. It's been a long while. But hello, welcome. I got a C here. Because it does become another C. It does become a memorizing exercise. You just don't realize it. Because if you've seen the same questions, same answers, you just know what the answer is. And that's what you're trying to avoid when you're studying. 6B, good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. 6B seems to be the common answer. Yeah, it's windy, being blown, wind and being blown to got a connection. Why are place names painted on the road surface? Someone's shouting at me. Good morning, sir. This is my first time here on the live session. Welcome. There and there, I got to know you. Come on live. Welcome to the live sessions. Appreciate you being here. My test is just a few days from now. I'm 92% ready. Hopefully days before my date would increase my chances. Why 92%? That's a weird number. I wish you luck with that. If it's a few days, please come back next Sunday. Let us know. If you've got questions, type them in. Let's get you confident in there for your test in a few days. Have a lot to ask here since it's my first time. Ask away. Just put a Q semicolon so I can find it. That's why I'm live, to answer your questions. But please put a Q semicolon. It makes it easy for me to see the questions. Otherwise, it looks like a comment. Next step is driving lessons. You're welcome. So you're taking driving lessons. I wish you luck with the driving lessons as well. Good morning, Tony. Again, past 2 weeks ago. Thank you for coming to the sessions and let me know that you have passed. Appreciate that. Right, we'll be on 7. Let's give it enough time to come through. First time here, so welcome. First time. Again, if you have any questions, any concerns, type them in. 7B. How many of you actually feel ready to take a test but scared of booking one? So feel that you're ready but you're scared of booking a test. I've got 7C here. I've got quite a few in the study camp, even though I'm saying they're ready. They're still scared of booking one. My exam's on Wednesday. I wish you luck with that. Do you mind breaking this question down? I'm assuming you mean this one we're on. I will do that for you. I got my mock tests, March 17. Any advice? Mock test or real test? What test are we talking about? Mock test and real test is two different things. And most of you gone for a B, but there's a C popping around on here. So let me take a look. 7B. All right, someone asked me to break it down. I think it was Desrina Ford. Let me see if it was right. Desrina Ford asked me to break it down. All right. Question: why are place names painted on the road surface? To warn of oncoming traffic. It's not going to be oncoming traffic because oncoming traffic is coming towards you. Place names are painted on the floor so you can read it with that. So it will not be that one. To help you select the correct lane in good time. That's what it's for. So you can select the correct lane or road position in good time. So the road name is painted so you can read it, always going up, so you can read it clearly. So you know exactly where you need to position your car nice and early, technically. To prevent you from changing lanes, nothing should prevent you from changing lanes if it's necessary, so it's not going to be that one. And to restrict the flow of traffic, again, it's not going to restrict the flow of traffic. If they want to restrict the flow of traffic, they'll make the road narrow or put speed limit signs, reduce speed limit signs on there. So that's the reason why. So place names are painted on the road surface or road signs, because they can relate to road signs. So you can choose your lane positioning in good time. In other words, nice and early. Let's get down the numbers. What should you be aware of if you've just passed this sign? I don't know if I've done this one. I got a test on Tuesday. I wish you best of luck with that on Tuesday. Again, for those of you who got a test this week, drop your questions in. I'm ready for the exam, but don't know why. I'm feeling you're nervous because it means a lot. That's the reason why. And it's a test. Any test you take, you feel nervous. I'll give an example. And I use me. I've been a driving instructor for 30 years, 31 years this year. And we get check tested every so often, depending on the grade you get. So it's every 4 years. When I get check tested, which means the examiner sits in the back of my car, watch me give a lesson, I get nervous, and I've been doing it for 30 years. But I'm confident with my knowledge because I've been doing it for so long. So I get nervous when I take my check test. I get nervous when my students, when they take their driving test. I get nervous and I'm not taking it. So it's a natural thing. Just don't let the nerves get the better of you. That's the most important thing. If you're not nervous, there's a reason why. It either doesn't mean a lot to you, you don't care, or there's something else going on. It's a natural human reaction, but there's different levels of nervousness. Don't let it control you. I repeat, I get nervous. I'll be honest with you, when I go live, the first few minutes of the live, I'm nervous. More for technical issues, but because I don't know what's going to happen, but it's live. So I still get nervous. Doing the live sessions, I've been doing this for a couple of years now as well. Nerves is natural. I speak from experience, trust me. Judith, you're new here. Welcome, Judith. Yeah, the advice I give, just go in there, take your time, read the questions from start to finish, read the answers from start to finish, flag anything you're not sure of. If you feel stressed and panicked, take deep breaths. You are welcome, and we are on 8. And you're all going for 8 on this one. That's a 6. Like I said, that's why I put the question number. Got a 6 and a 7 coming through. Shouldn't have done that. 8A. All traffic is going one way. Yes, one way. Be careful between, you got this one arrow going up, and then you got the round circle, which is ahead only. So don't get confused between the two. Ahead only and one way. All traffic's going one way. So it's A. To go boom, and get the numbers down. When should you check the engine oil level? Oh, that's interesting. That's the show me, tell me question. For those of you don't know, when you go for your driving test, the examiner will ask you 2 questions. One show me, one tell me. One of them is about your engine oil level. Good morning to you. Good morning, Dorian. Thank you very much for this platform. I applied for my provisional driver license and was told I would receive it before the 23rd, but still haven't received it yet. I don't know why they said to you before the 23rd. That's just a DVSA. That's just the way it works. It should be on its way. I'll give you... it's the way the DVSA works. There's not much you can do. It's on its way. They're just delayed. I applied for my license. Let me just show you guys. I applied for my teacher's license because my one runs out at the end of the month. I just run out. There it is, my teacher's license, my new one. I applied at the beginning of the month. It's supposed to be 10 working days. This arrived on Friday. So that's just the way the DVSA works. They work very, very slowly. So don't stress over it. It's on its way. They just take a long time, unfortunately. That's just the way it goes. But while you're waiting for when you're here, so I'm assuming you're studying for your theory already. So at least you're studying for it. So when it comes, you're free to book a driver's theory test as well. What happens when you flag a question on your test day? Nothing. You flag it, you move on. When you get to the 50th one and you answer it, it will say to you, do you want to review your flagged ones? Say yes. That's the reason why you flagged it, and it will take you back to just the flagged ones. It won't take you back to number 1, 2, 3, 5. It just literally take you back to the flagged ones. So if you flag number 7, for example, number 15, it'll take you to number 7 first. Once you answer that, remove the flag, it'll take you to number 15. I don't recommend going through all 50 questions. That's what some of you guys do on the day. You go back to number 1 to double check your answers. That's a big mistake. The reason why, because when you do that, the brain starts to second guess itself. That's the reason why I say flag as you go, because if you've got doubts, you're flagging it. You don't want to go back and double check. The brain starts to ask too many questions, and then you start doubting yourself, and then you change right answers to wrong answers. So never, I say never, but if you're going to be disciplined to go back and check your answers and not change them, be confident it is what it is, then fine. But if you think it is what it is, then why go back and check it anyway? There's my theory behind it. And this is coming from students that I've taught over the years. They didn't take my advice, went back to number 1, double checked, got a low score, scraped 43, 44, and they felt they changed right answers to wrong answers because they went back and started to second guess themselves. So that's the reason why I say don't do that. Just flag as you go. But you have to do you, because you know you better than I do. Please, sir, could you explain the other answer option so I can get the clarity to avoid mistakes? If you're talking about for every one of them, the answer is going to be no on that. That's what the simple fact is. I've got to be considerate of other people's time. It take me ages to go through all 20, explain all 20 in that situation. There's enough videos out there on my channel that will break down these questions on there. That's what the videos are for. This is literally just to give you guys a heads up, answer your questions live. So I can't do 20 questions, otherwise we'll be here for 3 hours. I appreciate people getting up their time on a Sunday. I don't want to keep it here for 3 hours on a Sunday. I appreciate that, but that's what the videos are for. Can I flag a question that's taken time to go back to? Yeah, that's why I say it. What you don't want to do, you got 50 questions. Let me answer this first and then I can answer your question. Because like I said, that's why you guys are here for this mock test. Engine oil, for this answer, it's going to be... interested. Early in the morning. Sorry, let me just do that. It's going to be A. You guys are going for A for a long journey. You want to make sure, for the ferry test, you want to make sure you've got enough oil to get you from A to B. That's why it's going to be that one. For your driving test answer for the examiner is check when the engine's check the engine oil when it's cold, because when the engine's hot, it expands. It doesn't give you a true reading. So for your theory test, before a long journey, and for your driving test, it's when it's cold. Right. You're following 2 cyclists as they approach a roundabout in the left-hand lane. Where would you expect the cyclist to go? What question does that going to review? Yeah, sorry, this one. Can I flag a question that's taken time to go back to review? Yes, this is why I say flag. You've got 50 questions, 57 minutes. There's going to be questions that you know the answer to, so that saves time. There's going to be questions you need to work out the answer, but you're kind of confident when you answer it. And there's going to be questions that you're not confident with. Let's just argument's sake, say it was number 5, you wasn't sure. It's no point stressing and being there for 3, 4, 5 minutes trying to work out the answer. You flag it, you move on. And then when you finish your 50th question, you now got the time remaining. So let's say it's 15 minutes, but you flagged 3 questions. You now know you can spend 5 minutes per question. And that's how you want to do it. Don't stress over any particular answer as you're going through it. Just literally, I don't know it, fine, flag, move on. And the reason why you're doing that, because if you only flag 2 or 3 and you're confident with the other 47, you're passing anyway. If you flag 8 or more, you really want to be spending your time to answer those questions, because you know if you get all of them wrong, it's going to be a fail. So spend the remaining time on the questions you have flagged rather than sitting there wasting time on question 5, for example, that you're not sure of and the time's ticking. That puts stress on you now, because now you've got another 45 questions to answer in the time remaining. You don't want to put stress on yourself unnecessarily. That's why I recommend flagging it, moving it on. And practice that at home as well. What some of you aren't doing is flagging at home. You can't. The reason why you practice at home is so I hate using the word, you're perfecting your art. So when you go for the test, you do exactly what you do at home. You can't turn it on and off. You want it to be natural. So if you're not flagging at home, it's unlikely you're going to flag when you go into the test center, because you're not used to it. You want to do what you're used to, and that's taking your time at home and flagging at home. So when you go for the real test, you're taking your time and you're flagging. Someone's got PVC driving through it. I don't do PCV. I would recommend the app. Driving test success. Go into the settings, change the questions to PCV driving. But I don't do that because it's not my profession. They always mess up the word in the real ferry test when you go to the test center. They always mess up the wording. They mess up, or they just word it differently. There's a difference. But you know that before going in. That's why I say on the app, understand it. The app is the sample questions to give you the chance to understand what they're asking. Because if you understand the question, let me explain something. This is how I explain. When I teach driving, I teach driving in very simple context. And the way that I teach my pupils is always make things kind of even when they're driving, so it leads to safety. So the example that I use in the car is 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. For the driving test, 4 equals safety, like algebra. So 4 equals safety. My pupil understands that. If they do something slightly different to what I taught them, as long as it equals safety, it doesn't matter, because they understand that. So if they do a 3 plus 1, it still equals 4. It still equals safety. And that's how you want to learn the app. Whatever the question is, you understand it inside out. So if my pupil does something difficult, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, it still equals 4, still equals safety. We don't have a conversation. It's only if it doesn't equal 4, i.e. safety, we have a conversation, because they understand what safety is. Whether they want to do it their way or do it my way, it makes no difference, as long as the outcome is the same. And that's what you guys need to understand. Understand the question, because the answer will always be the same. If you don't understand the question, you're just relating it to what you see in the app. That's different. That's memorizing. That's not understanding. So you've got to understand the question and then understand the answer. Got 10A, got 10C. And from here, it looks like it's a common answer of a 10A. So I get what you're saying about they mess up the wording, it's annoying, blah, 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 but you know that before you go in. So deal with it before you go. It's as simple as that. Understand it. Yep, they word it differently, but you know that before you go in. Right, 10A, any direction. Yeah, cyclists, horse riders will take the route they want to take. It's not the same as a car, so they can go in any direction. Why is it dangerous to travel too close to the vehicle ahead? Right, let's get rid of some of these other comments. I have not booked a driving test yet. I have watched a few of your old videos, not much. I think I've done that. Driving test and theory test is two different things, so be careful with the wording on that. I said arcs away, but just make sure you put a Q semicolon. But you haven't asked any questions, though. I'm not seeing any come up. Juliet, it's my first time on your live stream, but I have been following you for a while now. If you're still here, Juliet, welcome to the live. Appreciate you to follow as well. Good morning to you. How do I partake in the 30-day intensive course lessons? Again, make yourself clear, because you're really making me struggle to understand what you're saying. 30 days intensive. I do intensive driving courses, which is over a week, so it's not 30 days. If you're talking about the 30-day study camp, it's not intense. It's at your leisure, because everything is recorded. It's 30 days is what I call a sweet spot for studying. But if it takes you longer because you've got a busy lifestyle, whatever it is, slow learner, you stay in there as long as it takes, you have access to it. We do a Monday to Thursday training session where I cover each category, break it down logically, 4:30 to 6:30. It's recorded, so if you can't make it, that runs every week, so you can attend any day, any time that suits your time schedule. And we have a live training session Wednesdays, and at the weekends we do a live session where you have access to my Theory Test Pro account, which gives me access to see how you studied, how long you studied for, the questions you're getting right, the questions you're getting wrong, and I'll show you in real time how to improve on anything and any questions you may have. And we do have perceptions in there as well. So that's how that works. But I repeat, you got access until you pass. But I just call it 30 days because that's the sweet spot. You get in, study for 30 days, and technically you should pass after that. So that's what that is. If you're talking about the study camp, but if you're talking about intensive driving, I don't do 30 days intensive driving. But I'll repeat, the study camp isn't intense. By the way, it's leisure. It's at your pace, not mine. 11, let me find 11s. So, okay, so, don't know what that means. I'm not even going to try to break that down. What you guys got to understand, 11C, I have dyslexia. My brain works totally different from the norm. So if certain words are jumbled up, my brain just cannot understand it. It just doesn't work out. Understand it instead of memorizing. Understanding is the key. Once you memorize something, I'll give you a simple example. I think I've used this before. I had a woman take, in the study camp, I won't mention her name, in the study camp, take a lot of theory tests before she came to the study camp. I think it was 10 theory tests, and one of the reasons why she kept failing, because she memorized it. She didn't realize she just done a lot of tests. After 30 days, like I said, it becomes a memorizing exercise. Anyway, keeping it short and simple, she answered the questions, dipped headlights. I always say, if it's a bog standard light question, the answer's always dipped headlights. This was before we met. Always dipped headlights. That's how she memorized it. She went for the real test and they used the word headlights. So she didn't recognize the answer because she didn't understand dipped headlights and headlights are the same thing. She chose the wrong one, blah, blah, blah. And that's how she kept failing, because she couldn't recognize the word. She didn't understand it. Dipped headlights and headlights are the same thing. And she knew that. That's the difference between passing and failing, because one of her tests, she got 42 out of 50. Now, if she recognised dipped headlights and headlights were the same thing, that would have given her 43 out of 50. And that's what I'm talking about. When they word it differently, you're going to struggle when it comes to memorising. But if you understand it, that dipped headlights and headlights are the same thing, it doesn't make a difference how they word it. And that's why it's important you understand. Can you get away with memorising it? If you get lucky and all the questions that you kind of memorize kind of come up, but you're going to pay for it in the long run when it comes to your driving lessons, because you're going to struggle with understanding what it means when you're driving. So one way or the other, you're paying for it. So you're better off putting the work. I got A. You're better off putting the work in now, and it saves in the long run. Hopefully it's one attempt at the theory test, and you save time on your driving lessons because your instructor's not sitting at the side of the road. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Yes, sorry, your instructor's not sitting at the side of the road. Talking about theory test stuff that you already passed. Sorry, just reading some of your comments on it. 11B. Sorry, 11B is the answer. Yeah, it's going to be restricted. Your vehicle, sorry, can't believe you make me laugh. Your vehicle has broken down on the motorway. What should you do if you're not able to get onto the hard shoulder? That's a new one as well. Interesting. Right, let's get rid of some of these comments. I need to book my theory test by the end of this March. Please advise on what to do next. Yes, book it. Jump on the line today when you finish the live session. Jump on the DVSA website, make sure they've got dates available, book it, work towards it. Don't wait to the end of March. And then study. If you're not ready for it, keep it on the cancellation dates, 3 working days before you got to cancel. And then if you're not ready, push it back. But you want to take it at the end of March, only you can do that. So jump online and book it before it gets booked up. Hello D, there's a question which says, what weather condition most increase your stopping distance? Is it raining and fog? No, it's ice and snow. Why would rain increase? Rain is double. Fog, you just can't see. It's got nothing to do with stopping distances. You should drive slower in fog, so it's going to reduce your stopping distance technically, because you're driving slower than 30 miles an hour if that was the speed limit. It's ice and snow. Take longer than ice and snow. You run in ice and snow, try to stop, see how long it takes you to stop. Yeah, always anything in life you should understand, not memorize it, understand it. Listen to your cousin. That's all I got to say to that. Listen to your cousin. It doesn't. Yes, there's different ways of explaining stuff. There's different way of understanding it. Like I said, the example that I use with my students in the car is the 2 + 2 example. 3 + 1 is the same answer. 4 + 0 is the same answer. So no matter how they drive or how I teach, the outcome has to be safe. The deliver a safe drive. We don't have a conversation. We may have a conversation how we could make it easier, because I like simplicity, and the simple way. When you keep it simple for a driving test, you have a better chance of passing. The more complex you are, you have more chance of failing. But if they do it a complex way and it still leads to that 2 + 2 safety factor, we don't really have a conversation, and they understand that. You can't memorize driving, so you can't memorize your theory test, because driving is different every time you drive, and the theory test is different every time you do it. Hence the different questions, different wordings. So you have to understand it. That's key. But like I said, if you don't, you can still pass your theory test. If you don't, it may take you a few more attempts, but you can still pass. But you're gonna pay for it on the driving lessons. Trust me on that one. The amount of times I've taught students who already passed their theory test before they come to me, and I'm sitting there at the side of the road talking about giveaway lines and who's got priority and all the rest of it. It's not what I really want to do. Sitting at the side of the road talking about giveaway lines when they've already passed the theory. I want to be driving. But you will pay for it in the long run somehow, some way. Put the miles in now, and then your life is going to be a lot easier once you pass, because you just jump into a car, start driving. Your instructor's going to be impressed because you know what the road signs mean, what the road markings mean. You keep using fog. Fog is not a road condition. Dry. Your wheels don't make contact with. Let me explain this. Fog is visibility. So you drive slower. It's got nothing to do with fog. It's ice, snow, rain, or dry, because your wheels are contact with the rain. Your wheels are in contact with ice and snow. Your wheels are in contact with a dry surface. So it's 2 seconds. All right, let me break it down even more. After 40 miles an hour or more, it's 2 second gap you should be leaving. If it's rain, it's double, or 4 seconds. And if it's ice and snow, it's up to 10 times longer. It's got nothing to do with fog. Fog is visibility. Which one did you find harder of a theory test? When I'm older than you guys, a lot older. When I took my driving test, there was no theory test. There's flashcards. All the examiner did at the end, they had flashcards of road signs. What's this? What's this? What's this? They didn't even wait for an answer in some cases. So I didn't do a theory test for my driving test. I had to do a theory for my driving instructor's exam, but I studied for that. And practical driving test, I'm always a practical person, but my attitude to driving or any test is I'll go and take a look. Just go and do it, see, and then I learn from my mistakes. That's why I passed on my second attempt with my driving, because I just went, so I failed on mirrors, and then the second time nailed it. So I didn't have theory test when I passed my driving test. I did it for my driving instructor's exam. But like I said, even back then, I tried to understand things. Exactly, a long time ago. All right, let's see. 12C is what you guys was going for, I think. 12C. Hazard warning lights, you've broken down. You're a problem. Warn other road users. Bring this down so you can see the numbers. You intend to turn left at the traffic lights. What should you do just before turning? Yeah, no theory back then. Driving was easy. There was no roundabouts that I can remember. No bus lanes back then. Roads was a lot wider. Now you got roundabouts all over the place. You got bus lanes all over the place, which you can't use. The roads a lot more narrower. You got different speed limits, 20 miles an hour. Back then it was all 30. Until you got into the motorway, 70. But now even dual carriageways, you got 30 mile an hour dual carriageways, 40 mile an hour dual carriageways. There's a lot more to think about. You guys have got to follow sat-navs on the driving tests, which didn't have sat-nav back then. I'm not far behind, to be fair. 64. But in saying that, as much as we didn't have the theory, we just had books. Highway code, sorry, it wasn't even books. It was a highway code, which is a little booklet with just so much rules in it. So we had to learn that. So as much as you guys have got the theory test, it seems harder. You guys have got the internet. You got YouTube. We didn't have all of that then. When I studied for my driving instructor's exam, it was all books, and the amount of books we had to read. There was no apps. There was no computers, as in internet to study on. It was literally read. So it was harder then. You guys got it easy. I would love to have some guy on the internet telling me how to study and what to study. 13A. Yeah, check for cyclists. What information is found in a vehicle registration document? That's also known as a V5C document. This is about understanding what information is found in a vehicle registration document. On a real test, they can call it the V5C document. Could you give us highlight on white, broken lines, thick, solid white lines, double yellow? That's a study. That's a whole topic in itself. Yellow, double yellow. This is a whole topic. We teach this on a. When do we do lines? On a Wednesday. Double yellow lines, simple form. Double yellows, single yellows, double reds. No parking at any time. Double yellows, double reds, no parking at any time. Our follow-up questions: what are the double yellows and red lines for? To help traffic flow or ease congestion. Solid white lines in the middle of the road, not overtaking. Follow-up questions: when can you overtake with a double solid white line in the middle of the road? When you're passing a vehicle doing 10 miles an hour or less. It has to be a road maintenance vehicle, cyclists, and knife and horse riders in there. And broken lines, there's two types. One is center lines. That's long lines, short gaps is your center line. And your hazard lines, lines in the middle of the road, center lines are short lines, big gaps. That's the center line, shows you the center of the road. And your hazard lines are long lines, short gaps. And that's a hazard lines which you find on approach to a bend or a giveaway line. But to be fair, all of us, I just explained a visual. Without the visuals, it's hard to make it make sense. I would go into the app and go into the road sign section and look at it there. But that's the basic I can give you based on the live. Like I said, that is a classroom session that we do live online. That's how important it is as well, because we do it and cover it in the sessions. Yeah, I'll always do live streams every Sunday, except for March 15th. I'm not actually here on March the 15th. I think it's 15th. Yeah, but outside of that, I'm normally here every Sunday. All right, sorry, 14. Let me catch up with these 14. It's still morning just about, Claudia. Good morning to you. Right, we guys going for B. The registered keeper, yeah. Give you another little tip. If it's got the registered keeper in the answer, it's always going to be correct. As much as I'm saying understand it, still understand the question. Vehicle registration document or V5C document, just in case it's worded differently on the real test. The registered keeper will always be the correct answer if it's got that at your 4 options. What's the main hazard shown in this picture? That's fine, that's no problem. But again, I would change your mindset as well. A lot of people do that. I missed it by 1 or 2 marks. You didn't. The difference is you need 1 or 2 to pass. In other words, you got 41 or 42. You needed 1 or 2 to get to 43. Once you tell yourself that the brain automatically thinks there's only a little bit more studying to go, I'll do another test and I should pass it. The way you want to think about it, you've got 9 questions wrong. You've got 8 or 9 questions wrong, because you want to aim for 50 out of 50. That way, if you fall short, you should fall over the line. If you aim just to get the 43, you fall short, you fall backwards, which is before the line. A lot of students do that, literally think, oh, I just missed it by 1 or 2. As soon as they get home, they book another test, take it, fail again. You got 8 questions wrong. There's a reason why you got 8 questions wrong. You need to solve that problem rather than thinking I got 1 or 2, I missed it by 1 or 2 marks. You need 1 or 2 to pass, but you got 8 questions wrong. That's how you have to train your brain to think big and aim for more studying time. Don't know why I'm doing that. Asia, I've not seen your name before, so welcome. First of all, I passed my test first time, 49, missed it by 1. Congratulations on passing, and thank you for coming to the live again. I've breaking your silence as well. I've not seen your name before. Appreciate that. And we're on 15. No problem. I hope it helps, but like I said, it's more visual than explanation. Probably need to do a video on that, to be fair. And you guys are going for 8. Aim for 50. It's out of 50. Aim for 50. You may not get it, but you stand a better chance of passing. At the end of this 20 questions, we'll do hello to you. At the end of this, we do a has perception. Sorry, I went blank. Has perception. Sorry, 15. What do you guys go for? 15A. Cyclist is the biggest problem. Not using traffic lights. What should you do as you approach this cyclist? Yeah, so let me just go back to this. Yeah, always aim for 50. That's what it is, 50 out of 50. Aim for 47. You're running the risk of failing. So the question you got to ask yourself is, why are you aiming for 47 when it is out of 50? Go for 50 out of 50. You may not get it, but like I said, at least you stand a better chance. If you don't get it, at least you're aiming high. So you fail high rather than aim low, fail low, which is below the pass mark. Even with my videos, when I do a 50 question mock test, there's quite a few videos out there where I've got questions wrong, still left it in there. Because we don't always get 50 out of 50. It'd be nice to do that, but you don't always get it. Right, you guys are going for D. Yeah, similar to what we spoke about. I think it was the horse rider at the roundabout. They can go in any direction, so always slow down and allow them plenty of space. What should you do? What should the driver of the car approaching the crossing do? Remember, if you guys got any questions, type it in the comment section before we sign out. I will do the has perception after this. But there's a couple of questions I need to answer. Someone was talking about puffin crossings, toucans, pelicans. Sophie Lifestyle, you didn't get back to me what you're looking at from the puffin toucan crossings. Let me just put it back on so you can see if you're still here. What are you looking to gain out of this answer? Because puffin crossings, toucan crossings, pelican crossings, in terms of lights sequence, are the same going up. In terms of, are you looking for what the individual crossings are? Or are you looking about the lights, what their lights do? Let me know, and I can answer that at the end with a visual if you want. And this one's reflective stars again. Gold leak, if you're still here, let me know. I'll answer that with a visual, because it's more visual than explanations. But if you guys are still here, just put comment yes. And I will definitely do that straight after we do this, and then I'll do the has perception. But remember, if you guys got questions, type them in. What time do you start and finish on Sunday? We start at 10, we finish when we finish. It's supposed to be about 2 hours, but I'm quite happy to stay on if it takes that long. Because like I said, the aim of the Sunday session is more to answer your questions, concerns, make your mind at ease with the training. But that's what these sessions are for. It's not really about, yeah, always 50 out of 50, always. Hopefully see you next week. Have a good one. I'm so scared of booking my ferry test. I've been prepared since December. Oh, so that's December. We're now in March, December, January, February. That's more than the 30 days. That's 90 days. Book it. You're never going to be calm in the test. You can study until you get all 774 questions right. But you're still going to be scared. You're still going to be nervous. You're wasting time. Think about it. You book it, pass it, all that extra months of training, it technically is wasted. Also, by booking it, pass it, but sorry, let me rephrase that. By booking and taking it, you now have, it's going to go two ways, one of two ways. You're going to either pass it, which means you can move on with your life and stop being scared, or you're going to fail it. And if you fail it, you got data. It's knowledge. You failed it. What score did you get? Boom. You now have the experience of taking the test. Boom. You now know what categories to study because you've got that on the list. Yeah, tell you. So you've got a lot of data to learn from that to go and get stronger for the second time round. Give you a quick example. She won't mind me mentioning her name because she's done a review video for me anyway. Her name is Cynthia. She came into the study camp December, back at end of November, December. She went to book her test in March. She was saying, I want to do it in mid-March. She was studying, looked at her results. She was good to go. I said to her, book it for February. She, no, went to do March. I said to her, book it in February. If you fail it, I pay for your next test. She booked in February 2 weeks ago. She passed it. Moving on with her life now. If I waited for her to do it in March, that's time wasted. She was good to go. So yes, she was scared. She suffered from anxiety as well, but she took my advice and booked it and passed it. My advice to you, if you studied for it, book it, take it and see what the result's going to be. You can keep going. December till now is a long time without taking a test. And just because you're scared as well, you're not saying that you're not ready for it, you're just saying you're scared. So the question is, when will you be ready for it? Watch the replay. That's not what I'm here for, promoting the study camp. The link is in the description, which breaks it down even more on there. But I'm not going to keep promoting the program. This is not what it's for. Sorry, what number are we on? 17. Do you know what? It's embarrassing. I don't know. Because I don't film videos on a regular basis. I'm not even sure if I've done a live video to be fair. So I'm going to say I don't know. I'm going to say no, but I'm not sure. I've done so many videos. I've 270 odd videos on there now. So I don't know, but you know what? I will have to do one because that seems like a common problem as well. So I'll make a note, try to film that in the next few weeks. All right, so let me just do it. 17C is what you guys are going for. Yeah, slow down, get ready to stop. That's what you're supposed to do at zebra crossings. You're towing a caravan. What is the safest type of rear view mirror to use? That's worded differently as well. Okay, let me come back to that. There's definitely a video on that. I know I've done a video on the pelicans and puffins. You guys should watch that video. I've definitely done that because the questions you're asking here, they're visual. It's very hard to explain and get the point across without the visuals. Please can you explain the reflective colours on the cars like slow moving vehicles? And let me come back to that. That's easy enough to do. I failed 2 times to get 42. If you're failing twice, got 42, it's lack of understanding. 8 questions wrong suggests you've got 5, at least 5 categories each time. What I would do, because you've done it twice, is put your paperwork together and look at the categories that you got wrong. If it's similar, common denominator, then you know there's a problem with those categories. If it's different categories, it's your general knowledge across the board. But in my experience, when someone fails twice, 8 questions, it's a lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. As I keep saying, you need to understand the questions. Don't see it that way. But like I said, that's what I do. Put the paperwork together, see what common denominator comes up. Aina, good morning. Numbers. 49. You guys are getting 49s. First of all, thank you for coming to the live sessions. That's the most important thing. Thank you for being here today and let me know that you got 49 out of 50. Missed the magical 50 by 1. So congratulations. Well done. High score. 56 out of 75. I appreciate you. Can I book my theory test without receiving? No, you can't. You need a driver's number, and that's on you. If it's your provisional, the driver's number's on the provisional when it comes. It starts with your surname, and then lots of letters and numbers. You need that to book your driving theory test. What about the days or your program? The days is Monday to Thursday. I go live. Say live, it's not live. It's a Zoom training. We do training in Zoom Monday to Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30, 2 hours a day, breaking down the different categories. It's recorded, so if you can't make it, watch the recordings. You can join any day while you're in the training camp. So if you do shift work, it's available to you at any time. You just click the link, you join. That's Monday to Thursday. Do a live review session of your results, your theory training results, on a Wednesday. That's 7 p.m. Again, recorded. So if you want to watch the recordings, and we go live at the weekend, that changes depending on my schedule. Then we do a live training on the weekend as well. And that's to review your personal training, which I can see and monitor and give you advice. But as I said, click the link in the description. It breaks it down even better than what I'm doing now. But that's not self-promotion on the live session. This is to answer your questions, not about the program though. But thank you for your interest. I appreciate that. But like I said, use the link below, get a breakdown. Yes, it's up on YouTube. Once the live session finishes, YouTube do what they need to do, and I'll leave it up there. I don't take it down. Right, you guys gone for D. Extended arm side mirrors is your wing mirror, just in case You haven't worked as your wing mirror needs to be extended by law. How should you position yourself when you use the emergency telephone on the motorway? Please, can I show the provisional license on the DVSA website on the day of the test? How do you get it on the DVSA? Please, can I show the provisional license on the DVSA website? Nope. You can't do that. How would you get your license on the DVSA website? They don't publish it on the DVSA website. Because it's data. Data Protection Act. You can't show it on the DVSA website. The answer is no anyway. It's no point dwelling on that. The answer is no. They need a hard copy because it's got watermarks on it. So they check the watermarks and make sure the picture looks like you. Because if it hasn't got the watermarks, it's a fake license. So the answer to that is definitely no. You need a hard copy. You just have to be patient for it to come through. Like I said, I showed you my instructor license, come from the same DVSA department. I done my application at the beginning of the month, supposed to take 10 working days, which technically is supposed to be the 14th. It should have arrived. It arrived on Friday. And my old license literally ran out yesterday, 20th of Feb, was the last day of my teaching's license. The DVSA are not the fastest people to deal with. They're really slow. So you just have to be patient. I can't, sorry, I just saw this and I can't go back to 18. This app doesn't allow me to go back to 18. Um, 19D. Yeah, face oncoming traffic. The reason why you face oncoming traffic so you can see the traffic. If someone loses control, you need to see it so you can run, basically, so you don't turn your back. So it's little things like that. You need to understand why you face oncoming traffic, and that's the gaps I'm filling on the study camp. Someone keeps asking about the study camp. It's little things like that. Face oncoming traffic. Why do you face oncoming traffic? So you can see someone losing control. That's how the brain remembers stuff. And number 20, you're driving on the motorway in windy conditions. What should you do as you overtake a high-sided vehicle? Right, sorry, someone said, can you explain the reflective colour on the cars, like the slow-moving vehicles and all, please? Yes, slow-moving's amber. They're talking about the flashing lights. They're called beacons on the cars. So slow-moving is amber. Green is doctors' cars. Again, I got a video on that on the channel. I do remember filming that one. So it's amber is slow moving. That's your dust carts, recycling vans, tractors. The ones they talk about the most in the theory test are your tractors and mobility scooters. Green is your doctor's cars. They're normally your fast response units that gets to the patient nice and early, make them comfortable while the ambulance is on its way. Then you've got your blue and white, which is your emergency vehicles, human life only, ambulance, fire engine, and police. If they do not show you the obvious ones, sorry, you can't see the question number. It's the last one anyway, number 20. If they don't show you the obvious ones, which I just mentioned, police, ambulance, fire engines, you have to think which one saves a human life. And the two they talk about the most outside on the real test is bomb disposal units and coast guards. So those are the ones. And then they've got red and white, which is your traffic officers. So it's red and, sorry, it's not. It's red and amber when they're driving, because it's not police. And then when they stop, it's red, solid red, to show it's a hot spot. So those are your 4 beacons on the car. So hopefully that helps. And then I've got this one. I'll do that visually. I'll jump into my slides and show you that visually, because 2 of you are asking that. Sophie Lifestyle didn't get back to me, so I'm assuming she's not here. She's gone. Sorry, let me go back to what you guys are going for, the answer 20. Congratulations on passing. Thank you for coming to let me know. Appreciate 46, 63, 63. Highest perception, high score. Right, you guys are gone for B. Well, put it down. Yeah, beware of sudden gust of wind. Right, going back to the beginning of the session where I said your theory test is made up of 14 different categories. It's personal to you when you go for the test. So if there's 10 of you in a room, 10 different. So this has got 10 categories out of 14. And you can see how it's made up at the sides. I won't go through all of them. 2 questions, 3 motorway rules, 5 on a 20 question mock test hazard awareness. So think about it. If one of my categories weaknesses was hazard awareness, I run the risk of getting 5 wrong. So I'm now down to 45 out of 50. That's the reason why I say your knowledge has to be strong across the board, because you don't know how your test is going to be made up. So if your weakness is one particular category and you get a lot of questions in one category, you're struggling before you get going. So that's why I say do all the individual categories in turn before you start to do mock test. And then hopefully you pass your mock test on a regular, and then you go and nail a real test. So that's why I say do the categories. No problem, you're welcome. That's what the live's for. You ask questions, I try to answer. Your videos were recommended to me. Congratulations. I'm not a big fan of the crash course, but it worked for you. 47 out of 50, 60 against 61 has perception. Well done to you. Thank you for being honest about the crash course, and congratulations on passing. All right, let me come out of this. Right, let me go into get my slides. Give me a minute. I'm not set up for this. So I'm going to try to find my storage. What was it? I did this one. Done that one. Right, there's a couple of questions here about lights. So can you explain the difference between puffin crossing, toucan crossing, pelican crossing? And then you're asking, could you talk about pelican puffin crossing? I mean, how to read the lights, flashing amber, green. Right, let me find the slides for that. Because as I said, that's visual. Some of these questions you guys are asking are visual. And without them, we do lights on a Monday. Let me find Monday. Right, like I said, it's not set up for this. Let me share my screen, see if I can get it centered. Get rid of this. Change this to second monitor. I'm gonna have to 1 second, just lost everything. Hold on 1 sec. Let me get back to this. And do this. And YouTube Live. Right, hopefully you guys can still see me going out. I've just lost my windows. Alright, share screen. I just need to shrink this down so you guys can see. Like I said, I'm not so this is literally being done live. I can't change profiles. Now let me go back. Hold on 1 sec. Let me come out of that. Why did not let me change? Do. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Close it down and try again. All right, just give me a minute. Play in window. We just try that because it's not Alright, share screen. Let's see if this is gonna work now. Which is this is traffic lights. It's not sized up properly because it's, like I said, it's not. I'm not set up for this. So I'm literally doing this live. There's your traffic lights. So you asked me which color. Let me just put this back up here so you can see. Could you talk about pelican puffing crossing? I mean, how to read the lights, e.g. flashing amber, green. Right, so with lights, I always say to my students, with images as well, full stop, you want to go up with your images. So it's green at the bottom because you're going from bottom to top, green at the bottom, steady amber, red. So when they ask you what color comes next, you know it's going to be a single color. If it's already at the red and ask you what color comes next after red, it's going to be red and amber together. So you go up as a single color. So green, amber, steady amber, red. And then you come down as a two colors, red and amber together. That's your traffic lights, your puffins, and your toucans. Now with your pelican crossing, that's where it changes. When it comes down from red, it's a flashing amber. So that's how you do it. So all traffic lights, your pelicans, your puffins, your puffins, your toucans, your pedestrian crossings are up single colors, come down as a double, but your pelican is the only one that flashes amber. So hopefully that helps you out with that. And the other one was studs. All right, let's see if I can get my slides for that one. So give me a minute on that. Oops. Put that back up there. Let me just see if there's any questions on it while I'm doing this. What's the essential skills, please? Driving essential skills is a big book. It's mainly for driving instructors, but there's nothing wrong with you guys. Take this down. Hold on 1 second. get rid of the comment. Sorry, let me just get this back up. Where are you? Keeps going back up. Essential Skills is a big, massive book, but it's mainly for learning to drive. It's a book that we got to read as driving instructors, but there's nothing wrong with learner drivers reading it. Pelicans flash, puffins don't. Correct. But like I said, the going up, I don't know why it keeps doing that. Let's change to this one, makes life a lot easier. Yes, but as you go up, all the lights are the same. Single going up, coming down is the difference between a puffin and a pelican. Red and amber for pelicans. So red and amber for puffins, your toucans, but pelican is the only one that flashes. And let me see if I can find the motorway slides, which is Tuesday. We cover motorways on Tuesday. So, pelicans, let's get rid of this, and then I can share my screen. So let me bring this down so you guys can see it. Right, so let me just put the comment was, can you explain the reflective studs and colours? Right, when they ask you the question about motorway studs, it's going to be one of two ways. It's either the location, ask you where it is, or the colour they're going to give you, and you've got to tell them where the colour is. Now, once you work out the location, whether it's left, middle, or right, you go to your three letters here, your R, your W, your A. Isolate those three. So if they work it out to be the left, it's going to be R, red studs on the left. If you work it out to be the middle lane, then it's going to be white because the W is in the middle. And if you work it out to be on the right hand side, central reservation, the crash barriers on the right, it's going to be amber studs. And then slip road is green. So if they start talking about slip roads, there's nothing to think about, it's green. If it's lanes, all you got to do, I repeat, work out the location or the color, isolate these three letters, and it gives you the exact order of where they are. So hopefully that makes sense for that question. Right, now I can go back to this and go back to your comments. Now I'm confused about the pelican and puffin flashes. Pelican flashes, puffin don't. If you are confused, there's a video on the channel to make it more clearer, and you're welcome. All right, let me do hazard perception. Let me see if I can get this window back. I've lost the window somewhere. Just making it hard for me to do what I need to do. Don't need that. Don't need that. All right, let me see if there's any other questions. So thanks for, right, let me do a hazard perception. So let me get my iPad out. Right, so a hazard perception, or hazard, should I say, is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So you got to think to yourself when you're watching the video, will I need to turn my steering wheel to avoid anything? Or will I need to use my foot brake to slow down? If the answer is yes, you want to click. But what you want to do is click twice per problem. So you literally want to go click and you go 1, 2, click again. Reason being, you need to get a score. That's all that matters, get a score. What you guys are doing is literally clicking once, thinking I've seen the problem, that's it. You may have seen the problem, but if it's too early, you're going to get a 0. By clicking twice, you should cover yourself. So if the first one was too early, the second one lands in the 5 or the 4. If you click first time and it landed in a 5, then you click second time and it landed in the 3 or the 2, you're going to get the highest mark. So there's no benefit in clicking once. There's lots of benefits in clicking twice, but no benefits clicking once. If you click once, you run the risk of failing your test, because you may get too many zeros on it. So that's the reason why you click twice. So now if I share my iPad screen, hopefully that one works. There you go. So there's 2 types of clips, real life and CGI. If you're doing real life clips on your app and the score's kind of low, don't be too hard on yourself, because sometimes the quality is poor and the timing isn't quite right. But if you're getting low scores on CGIs, then be worried, because there's an issue, because the CGIs are on point. It's crystal and it's on point. When you go for your real test, all the clips will be CGIs. So I'll do 2. I'll do real life. This one's got no stars, so I'll do this one. So I'm seeing it at the same time you're seeing it. There's a car trying to squeeze through on the pavement. I'm going to click again for that because I think I messed up. Right at the beginning. Brake lights, people are crossing in the road. Shouldn't stop on the keep clear sign, school sign. I'm going to click again, different problem, white car. Always keep scanning, always keep checking. It's a roundabout. Someone crossing the road. And then always be scanning from left to right, right to left on pavements, because road signs are on the pavement and people may cross in between cars. So I've got 4 out of 5. Always review, see how you can improve. So all the clips earlier on were red herrings. You just don't know where that could be a double. So let's go to the main problem. So I think it was a person crossing the road in the end. So there you go. Person I could have clicked there, didn't see him until late. So there's my first click, which is 4. Second one's probably a 2, but they gave me the highest mark. That's why you go for 2 clicks per problem to make sure you get a score. That's the key. Just get a score. They all tally up in the end, but too many zeros don't. Right, let me just see if there's any questions on this. Is clicking 3 bad as well for assurance? No. If you want to go for a 3 click, I went for 3 clicks on one car. I thought I messed up. Remember, let's get back getting the score. If you're doing 3 clicks all the way through the video, as long as it's on stuff that matters, then it's not going to be too many. But if you're clicking 3 clicks on stuff that don't exist, so let me give an example of this video. Let me just rewind it back. Let's just say, for example, doesn't really matter here, does it? Let's just say, for example, I start to click 3 times here. There's nothing there for me to hit. There's nothing, it's a roundabout, there's nothing coming from the right. The Mini's driving comfortably, there's nothing for me to hit. So if I click 3 times, that's where it can start adding up, because there's nothing physical there for me to slow down for or for me to hit. But if you click on things that exist, like these people coming out, slowing down, blah, 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 they're reasons to click. So there's nothing wrong with going for 3 clicks if you decide that you want to do that. I do a 2-click method. I will go for 3 clicks if I thought I messed up, because to me, it's just about getting a score. I'll even go 4 times if I think I messed up on the one problem, because I'm getting a score. But I know I'm not clicking 4 times throughout the video. So 3 times is fine. But just make sure it's on problems that exist. So let me take it out. Right, so let me do a CGI so you can see the difference in quality. So remember, when you go for the real test, it's all CGIs. Let's see if I can find with no zeros. Right, there we go. I've not seen this one before. So motorway, we're scan to my left, that lorry coming down slip road. So he's gonna have to drive my carriageway at some point. I'm gonna click again on that one. He's starting to signal now. So I'm gonna click again. So that's caused me to slow down, but keep going because it could be a double. Again, look beyond the lorry as well. Don't keep looking at the back of the lorry. Try to look down the side to the left so you can see the road signs, because the road narrows coming up. See the arrow on the floor to the right? Got to be moving off to the right. So now 3 goes into 2 lanes. That's why you need to keep looking ahead, but there's nothing there for me to swerve. Oh, 5 out of 5. And again, see how you can improve. So the lorry's coming from the slip road. That's how you have to anticipate what a problem is. So I'm in the left-hand lane, he's coming from the slip road, click straight away. So there's my 2 clicks for the lorry coming onto the slip road. Then as the slip road gets narrower, I click again at some point, which is there, didn't matter. I went for 4 clicks on that one as well. So I went for 2 here because the slip road, let me show you why I went for 2. Because look at the hatch markings to the left. And then it goes into single lines, which means he can now cross those lines at any point. So that's why I clicked for those 2. And then if you watch his right indicator, he starts to signal. And that's why I clicked again. 2 different problems, even though it's like 4 clicks, it's 2 different clicks, 4 problems. And that's what I'm saying. If you click on things that exist, it won't be too many clicks unless you're clicking 5, 6 times on the one problem. That's a different story. Right, so let's see if you guys are saying anything on this. Ooh. Right, so hopefully that all makes sense. Let's click and try. No. Marissa, I just want to give you an update. I passed my driving test first time. Well, congratulations to you. Well done. And thank you for coming to the live and let me know. You've been here for a while, so you have now passed the theory test and your driving test. Well done to you. Congratulations. You must be well over the moon with that. I know you put the work and effort in as well and had problems with your driving instructors and all the rest of it. So well done for keep going. That's the end result. And that's what makes doing this is good, because the end result is you guys passing your driving test and getting your driver's license and having that freedom of doing what you want to do. So well done. Are you able to run through road signs? Road signs, again, that's a visual thing. The basic thing with road signs, red circles are orders, blue circles are mandatory, and triangles are warnings, and square signs are sources of information. That's the basics. In terms of individual signs, that's a class. But that's your basics, road signs. Road signs starts with colours and shapes. Once you understand that, then you just have to work out what's inside those colours and shapes. But if that's what you wanted me to do, go for colours and what's inside them, that's a class. Because we covered it on the Tuesday in the study camp. Do you click if you see signs, for examples, roundabouts, or no parking signs? No. Roundabouts, I wouldn't click for signs on roundabouts. Reason being because it's a roundabout. As you approach the roundabout, as I keep saying, look left and right, scanning when you're driving. Obviously, as you come to the roundabout, you look into the right. Now, if there's cars coming from the right, you may want to think about clicking because you're going to have to slow down for the cars. Remember, a hazard, anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So if you're going to be stopping at the roundabout, you may want to be clicking on that. But I wouldn't click for roundabout signs. For parking signs, again, no, because if you're not parking, it's not a problem. But as you're passing the the spots, see if a car's pulling out of the parking spot. That I would click for, but I wouldn't click for parking signs. You click when you see moving objects. What's a moving object? You could ask yourself, what's a moving object? If you're talking about pedestrians, if the pedestrians are on the pavement, nicely on the pavement, near the wall, grass, the hedges, no. If they're near the edge of the road, then I'll be thinking about it, because ask yourself, why are they near the edge of the road? Because if they step off the pavement at that point, you're going to have to slow down or change direction. But if they're walking properly on the pavement, like they should, then there's no need to click. So you have to ask yourself, what... All right, let's keep it simple. If the moving object's going to cause you a problem, let's keep it simple. If it's going to cause you a problem, slow down, change direction, yes. Right, I don't see any other comment. Let me see if I tidied up all these comments that are saved. Reflective studs, yes. Puffin, toucans, yes. Pelicans, yes. So I've done all of those. So I'm up to date. Let me just see if there's any last minute comments. All right, so I don't see Marissa. Let me just put a comment up, because you know what? You've been here for a while, and I got to say congratulations again on passing your driving test. Thank you for coming and let me know. Appreciate that. So you must be well happy. And this is what I'm talking about. Let me use Marissa as an example. She's been here for a while for the lives, a big supporter of the live sessions. For those of you who don't know the name, too many names, but there's one person on there saying how I'm scared. I have not booked my theory test because I'm scared. This is what you're missing out on. Like I said, if you don't book it, you can't pass. If you don't pass, you can't take driving lessons. Well, you can take driving lessons, but you can't pass a driving test because you can't book a driving test without it. This is what you're delaying. And this is for all of you that are scared of booking your theory test. It's only going to go one of two ways. If you studied, there's no guarantee you're going to pass if you studied. But like I said, you learn from mistakes. But either way, you take it, you pass it, you move on to your driving lessons and be like Marissa and pass your driving test. Or you don't take it and you keep studying and then you keep taking transport or asking for lifts. The whole point of passing the theory test is to move on with your life and get your driver's license. Don't let fear put you back. Go off and do it. Put the studying in and go off and book your test. Don't be scared, because you're going to always be scared. You're never going to be ready to take a a theory test, to be fair, in your mind. You're never going to be ready. But the only way you're going to know is take it and see what the result is. And that way, like I said, if you're failing, you have data. That's the biggest thing. You guys are scared of failing, and I get that. But you learn more from failing than keep passing through your life. Just makes you stronger and better. As long as you learn from the mistakes, it makes you stronger and better. If you don't learn anything, then obviously it's going to be the same result over and over. But hopefully you guys get the encouragement to book your theory test with that. So hopefully today's session was useful, beneficial to you guys. I enjoyed it, which is the most important thing, because it means I'll be back here next week. If you guys have got any questions during the week, I can repeat, jot them down so you can remember them, bring them to the live session and we can discuss, because the whole reason why I go live is to answer your question, not to do a mock test. That's just a bonus, and do has perceptions a bonus. Is to answer your personal questions, to put your minds at ease with anything that you may be struggling with. So jot them down during the week. For those of you that's got a test coming up, I wish you the best of luck with it. And please come back next week and let us know how you actually got on with it. I love it. I'm loving this, because I love when you guys send that. Again, that does that. Let me do this one. Congratulations, Mr. Even Sir. Notice you. I see you every day. There you go. I need to follow this program back to back. It's my first time here, so hopefully you learned something. But yeah, Marissa's been here for a while. And even though she passed the theory test, because obviously she's passed the driving test the other day, she was still here coming and chiming in with the 20 question mock test, which is beneficial to some students as well. Because like I said, you use it for your driving test. But that's the ultimate goal, is for you to get your license. So don't be afraid to book it. Again, good luck with it. 3rd of March. I'll be thinking of you on the 3rd of March. Please come back next week and let us know. Hopefully it's good news. But yeah, those of you scared, book your tests. Book a date, work towards it. If you're not ready, you can always push it back. Set a goal and go from there. But don't be scared and let the fear hold you back, because you won't get your license like Marissa has. But for those of you who have, like I said, got a test this week, good luck with it. Please come back next week. Let us know. For the rest of you, keep studying. Write down any questions. Join me next week, Sunday, 10 a.m. with your questions. And enjoy the week. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. And I shall see you next Sunday. Take care.